When the Duchess of Cambridge visited an Oxford primary school last week, her chic white coat and little black clutch showed off the style and taste we've come to expect, but the way she held her handbag revealed surprise. Kate's index, middle and ring fingers are all very similar in length. It's long been thought that digit size is linked to certain character traits, sporting ability and even some illnesses, but what do Kate's finger lengths reveal about her, and what other handy secrets is the royal family hiding? It all starts in your mother's womb. Developmental biologist Professor John Manning, of Swansea University, says the fact Kate index and ring fingers are similar in length probably results from high exposure to estrogen in the womb. The relative lengths of these two fingers are determined towards the end of the first trimester of pregnancy, he says, and how much they grow all depends on a mother's levels of sex hormones. His studies show that if a fetus is exposed to high levels of estrogen as it develops, the index finger and ring finger will end up about the same length. At the same time, the hormone will have a profound effect on the baby's personality, making the child more likely to display classically female traits such as creativity and sensitivity. If a fetus is exposed to more testosterone in the early months of pregnancy, the baby is likely to have a shorter index finger than ring finger, and may be more susceptible to exhibiting male traits, such as aggression and competitiveness. Kate's got a real social conscience. Perhaps the most unusual aspect of Kate's hands is that her middle finger is almost the same length as her index and ring fingers. Most people's are noticeably longer, while our middle finger isn't affected by estrogen and testosterone in the womb because it has fewer hormone receptors. For palm readers, the length of this finger carries a crucial significance. Kate's middle finger should stand 2 centimeters longer than the others, says Johnny Fincham, palmistry expert and author of Palmistry, From Apprentice to Pro in 24 Hours. That it doesn't, indicates she has an enormous sympathy with the outsider. She's strongly geared towards the underdog. Kate's sister Pippa, on the other hand, has a middle finger quite a bit longer than all the others. People with a short middle digit often have trouble finding their place in life, Johnny says. They cling strongly to their support system, but if they find themselves without it, they can shoot off and do something different. Such people are often academics, spending all their lives at university, where they never have to grow up. This makes sense given Kate's supportive relationship with her family. However, the royals may be in for a shock in the coming years. As Kate gets older, she may want to escape the restrictions of royal life. Many such people end up living in a land outside of the one they were born in. Another fascinating study found those with digits of similar length are more inclined to be stubborn and quarrelsome with the opposite sex, although it's only a problem for men. According to scientists at McGill University in Canada, they looked at men's behavior with women and found those with longer ring fingers were more likely to listen attentively, smile and laugh, compromise or compliment the other person compared with those with even-sized fingers, who are more likely to quarrel. According to Debbie Moskowitz, professor of psychology, she's charming, but a bit aloof. Palmists believe the shape of your palm says a lot about you, with 4 basic types, 1 for each element: fire, water, earth and air. Kate has an air palm. It's square, with long, thin fingers and quite bony, pale hands, says Johnny Fincham. People with air palms are quiet, refined, intelligent, sensitive and articulate. They don't usually like to get into a situation where there are too many impediments on their freedom. They like to come and go as they please and travel a lot. While they can be charming, they are often hard to pin down, somewhat unknowable and aloof. Fate in the palm of your hand. If you have a rectangular palm with muscular fingers, and perhaps a bit of a tan, you have fire palms, says Johnny. These people are very assertive, go-getting and extremely concerned with their career. They're often self-made and can be quite intense. They often walk away from relationships when they start to go wrong and grab the next one. They're not good at reflection. A heavy, square palm with solid, fleshy and quite short fingers means your palms are ruled by the earth element. These are grounded, solid people, says Johnny. They have huge energy and endurance. They are humble, stoic and unpretentious. If you have narrow, soft and silky smooth palms and long, flexible fingers with pointed tips and oval nails, you have a water palm. These are often deeply emotive types, says Johnny. They are highly geared towards their feelings, often artistic and intuitive. Their heart rules their head. Also, they're open, friendly people, who speak softly with a musical, breathless voice. But they often get into relationship problems. Curious case of Kate's pinky. Kate's slim little finger is longer than normal, a sign of curiosity about the world and an ability to engage and influence others. Such people are usually good with money and use words well, says Johnny, but more likely to stray romantically. Prince Charles shares this trait, while his naughty knuckles suggests someone who has an analytical nature and speaks his mind. Indeed, Charles has supported a broad range of causes, from organic farming to alternative therapies. Sporty royals' ring fingers. If you have a ring finger longer than your index finger, you're a born sportsman, or woman, as Zara Tindall proves. This is seen as a typical masculine hand, the result of exposure to high levels of testosterone in the womb. Zara has the trait along with Prince Andrew and his former wife Fergie. So does sporty Pippa, who has taken part in grueling ski races and ultra-marathons. Swansea University's Professor Manning, author of The Finger Ratio, says there is a strong correlation between longer ring fingers and excelling at running. He says, it's to the point where it's actually predictive. If you have a race and measure the digit ratio of the runners with similar training regimes and ages, you can get pretty close to guessing the positions at the end of the race. The longer a runner's ring finger compared to their index finger, the better they'll do. People with long ring fingers compared to their index fingers are also more likely to take risks, according to Canadian research. With a work hard, play hard attitude, number crunching and problem solving comes easily. They're also more likely to be an extrovert, and wealthy. However, those with relatively short index fingers are less likely to be faithful, according to scientists at Imperial College, London. Men with the trait, who tend to have higher testosterone, are more likely to suffer from prostate cancer and end up in prison, or be murdered. Man Harry has female hands. Look closely at the hands of both Prince Harry and the Queen and you'll see their index fingers are the same length as their ring fingers, just like Kate's. Although this is sometimes seen as a typical female hand, many men have it too. Studies by Oxford University have shown people with matching index and ring finger lengths are more likely to be married and to stay faithful within a relationship than those with a shorter index finger, which is good news for Meghan, who also has a short ring finger. Such people are less likely to excel at sport or be musically gifted. They do tend to be very organized, find multitasking a breeze and have great memories. Peace-loving and conflict-avoiding. They're usually caring types. It's no surprise to hear that the Queen has these traits, although perhaps they reveal more about Harry's tender nature hidden under his cheeky exterior. Norwegian research has found that those with matching ring and index fingers may have a propensity to depression and anxiety, which may be the result of their sensitivity and empathy. Women with high levels of estrogen in particular may suffer from headaches and allergies, such as eczema, asthma and hay fever. Then again, one study also linked this characteristic to men being able to last longer in bed. Dr. David Goldmeyer, of Imperial College London, said that men with longer ring fingers tend to have been exposed to higher testosterone levels in the womb, and this could harm brain receptors that control ejaculation. So the less testosterone exposure, the more self-control a man may have. And he's under Meghan's thumb. The lines on your palms have been used to tell fortunes for centuries. So, what do they mean? Most people have two major lines, the heart line, which runs from under the little finger towards the index, and the head line, which is below it and runs down from near the thumb. But Meghan doesn't have two lines, she has just one, which is hugely rare. It's devastatingly powerful, says Johnny, and shows an extra special talent and ability. Someone who's single-minded, highly motivated and absolutely unstoppable. She'll get exactly what she wants. It tends to show a difficult early life, like parents splitting up and having to fend for yourself. People with it have a strong sense of being a survivor and having to use every ounce of wit and charm to get by. The Chinese call this line the quietly raging storm. It's someone who's impossible to know properly, extremely intense and who tends to walk all over their partner. Only the best for Philip. Whether you have fine, slim digits or fat stubby ones is not simply the result of your body weight. Palmistry expert Johnny Fincham points out that Prince Philip's fingers are extremely wide at the base, then taper off at the fingertips. This is the sign of someone who's very tactile and wants the best of everything, he says. They're very fussy about the food they eat, they have an exquisite taste in wine and want to live in luxury. This also applies to their attitude to the opposite sex. They want to have a beautiful partner. If your fingers have thin, athletic bases, Then you're the opposite. A lot of Buddhist monks have this type of finger, says Johnny.